Our hero highlight today is going to come from Raymond Giles, but he has these pictures in his slide presentation. So I'll go ahead and introduce him. As he mentioned, he's with Regal Luxury Travel, and we're already talking travel plans. And he has a lot of travel experience, also having been in the military. So uh, anyways, I won't steal your show. I'll let you tell, but do I have your information correct on here?
Um, yes. That is
Okay,
a really
great.
long web address, I know.
It's all right. Well, I'm going to stop sharing, and you should be able to share your screen. And Santa Papa John, if you want to glance at his once in a while, just set it to 15 minutes, and then we'll open up for question and answers. If you finish before then, that's fine.
Okay. All right, everybody. Glad everybody could call in. So I'm going to make sure that this works. And there we go. Okay, so I do come from a long line of vets. This is my paternal grandfather, or as we called him, Grandpa Giles. He was actually in the Army Air Force before World War II. And then after Pearl Harbor, he rejoined. This is my granddad, my mother's father. He was, funny enough, he joined 37 years to the day before I was born and was in the Philippines during the fall of the Philippines in World War II. And as the story is told, he was on patrol during the Bataan Death March, and he felt that it was a good idea for him to not come out with a weapon or what have you while they were marching everyone to Corregidor. Um, so he missed the death march, but he did spend 33 months in the POW camp in the Philippines. And talking to my uncle, said that to the day he died, you could not give him a spoonful of rice. So it was just something, I guess, the military ruins everybody on one particular food, and I'm pretty much assuming that the Japanese ruined my grandfather on rice. Um, this is my father. So he kind of broke the tradition from the Army. He went into the Navy, wanted to do something different, said the only day he ever skipped school was the day that he went to the recruiter. And he said the only time that he regretted the decision was seeing his father drive off with him at the getting ready to go to boot camp. He didn't have it so bad. He went to Club Orlando in Florida, where they got a day off halfway through boot camp and went to Disney World. And he was really sort of the inspiration for uh, why I travel and why I wanted to become a travel advisor. This is me many pounds ago on the USS Miami in the auxiliary space. Back when I was a smoker, this is where we were able to smoke, but they've done away with that on submarines as well. And then finally, my brother, he joined about a year after I did. He went to my boot camp or went to my boot camp graduation, got inspired, wanted his life to have some direction. He ended up doing 21 years and made chief for his E7 well before he got out. So we're all real proud of him, and that he really did something with himself. So and that was sort of the family, the pedigree as far as the military for the last 80 years. So as I said, my father was sort of my inspiration for my travels, and for 40 something years, I listened to my father talk about how great Greece was. He didn't go to Santorini, he didn't go to Mykonos. No, he did the mainland. And he always talked about Delphi. So when I was living in Saudi Arabia, we had a week-long vacation, and I figured that I was going to take this time to go see Greece. And last year he had an accident. God blessed us with 8 more months with him after the accident, but it ultimately took his life. And as we're going through this stuff, um, I'm sitting there looking at photos, and I'm like, I think I have this. And as I was going through his photos, started looking, and you can see here that these are photo of olive trees. Olive trees are down here. This is the treasury. So what they would do is every city in uh, the Greek nation state, they would come in and they would build a temple or a treasury to Apollo because Delphi was supposed to be the home of Apollo. And this was the treasury from Athens. And this is the photo that my father took. And then this is the one that I took. This is the Temple of the Oracle. And then I took almost the same one. And in the stadium at Delphi. And so we're going through his photos and we realized that 50 years apart, my father and I were in the same place taking photos of the exact same thing. And it had not changed in 50 years. So it was sort of like like I guess we were ordained, if you will, to go and visit the same places. And as he was my inspiration for travel, I wanted to inspire other people to travel. But I began to realize that it wasn't just enough to inspire people. I needed to also become the mechanism to help people travel. So, what we're looking at here is a map of all the nations that I've been to. I have been to 38 countries. Probably the smallest one is going to be Luxembourg, followed closely by Lebanon. So I've been to all of the continents except for South America and Antarctica, which I'm having trouble saying today. Um, but nothing is really on my bucket list at the moment for any new places. But I'm fortunate enough that my day job has moved me to Finland and Saudi Arabia, which put me in really good locations to be able to see more of the world. So what we've got here are, I break it down. It's hard to say that you have a favorite place. So I call it basically a favorite type of trip. Um, this is the cathedral in Helsinki. It was my favorite place to live outside of any time I've ever been with my family. I've been back to Helsinki twice since I moved back to the US, and it is seriously a place that I can go and I can reset my soul. And a few years ago, I went and from the airport into the city of Helsinki, my face hurt from smiling. I was just so happy to be there. Um, this was going back to when I was in the eighth grade. We read Elie Wiesel's Night, which is he was a prisoner in Auschwitz, and he wrote a series of books after he got out. And reading this book, realized that it wasn't anybody trying to make a museum of Auschwitz, but it was the Jewish people wanting the world to remember what had happened there. And I felt it was my responsibility to go there so that I could see it. And because there is no movie, there is no pictures that can really tell you how big this place was and how disgusting it was unless you've actually been there. And it was one of the most important places that I think that I've ever been because I can actually come back and tell people, no, you do not understand what went on there. Um, the this one here is Dubrovnik. I put this here because it is probably the most beautiful place that I have ever been. Looking out at the Adriatic Sea, it is very dark blue waters. And it was also the most educational experience because I grew up, I was in high school when the Balkans War was taking place, when the fall of Yugoslavia happened. And I knew that there was war going on. I knew there was genocide, but I didn't understand what was taking place. So going there, I actually learned about the ethnicities that were fighting each other. And it really enlightened me. And I was able to come back and talk to people about that. But at the same time, to see how they were able to rebuild their country in 25 years is really fascinating. And being in Dubrovnik is just an absolutely beautiful place to be. But the Americans, like most places when we go travel, we absolutely make the economy impossible for normal tourists to visit. Just like we've done to Costa Rica, Dubrovnik is very expensive. And as a Christian, this is probably one of the more significant places that I've been because this is the place where Christ was baptized by John the Baptist. The Jordan River has actually moved about 300 yards this direction over here. But they say that even back in the 500s, there were granite steps that went down to this place so that they know that it actually goes back much further to the time of Christ and that they believe that this is where that happened. So it was a very important place for me to visit. And luckily I was in Saudi Arabia, which afforded me that opportunity. So Now getting into what do I do? What does a travel concierge do? Um, I advise. If somebody wants to go to Mexico, or they want to go to, say they want to do a river cruise on the Nile, or they want to go visit Saudi Arabia, it's my job to make sure that they are going at the best time for them. I don't want my clients to go to Saudi Arabia during Ramadan. However, if you were to go to Egypt during Ramadan, that might be good because you deal with the significantly less traffic. So it's easier to get around places like Cairo. So I'm not just booking you into a place because you want to go there. I'm educating you on what to expect when you get there and the best times to go. Um, I'm doing the shopping for you. Everybody can get on Expedia and you can find the cheapest price for your trip or where you want to go. But I'm not here to find you the cheapest place. I'm here to find you the best value. You need to come to me with a budget, and then I'm going to put you in the best place that I possibly can for the budget that you're willing to spend on your vacation. As the CEO of our company says, why would you spend money to go stay in some place that's not better than your home? Okay. You could just stay at home and keep that money and stay at a nice place and then, save it up to have a much better vacation in the following year. And I save you time. I give your time back to you because as the expert, I know the places to go to find the deals, to find the really good places that I've been able to find resorts in Cancun that were 50% cheaper than what you're going to find on Expedia. I booked a group trip for six families to Tulum, Mexico. And when it was all said and done, I saved the entire group $9,000 over what they would have spent on Expedia. So that's what I do. Instead of you sitting there trying to find how are you going to be able to cut corners to get everybody to go, I'm saving that time for you. And I curate. I have a lady who is retired. She wanted to do a trip through Europe. So I was able to plan a 3-week trip through Europe to go to the specific places that she wanted to go. I was able to put her in luxury hotels at every one of her destinations, and then we also discussed what she wanted to do at each one of these places. And so I was able to get her private tours in most of these places. And if it wasn't a private tour, it's a small group. And I'm also the advocate for my clients. When you go to a hotel, they see you as a one-time guest, but they see me as someone who might put someone in that property again. So if you're not happy, then they know I'm not going to be happy, and they might go on my do not sell list. So when you're going to a property, I'm calling before you get there to make sure that they are ready for you, that if you have any special allergies, if you like Coke instead of Pepsi, that that's what they have in your mini bar. And so I am your advocate before you get there so you can immediately hit the ground running and enjoy your trip. And it's finally as the concierge, what do I need to do? Information do I need to book your trip? Obviously dates. I just saw another travel advisor. They are advertising a trip to Lapland, Finland. Yeah, it's cold, but they're saying that you can ski the slopes in September. No, that's not going to happen. You still got to have snow on the ground to be able to ski the slopes, and you're not going to find that in the beginning of September. So I need to know the dates for when you want to go and who is traveling. Right? If you're going on a cruise and you want to take your grandkids with you, you want to take your kids with you, I cannot put you on a Viking River cruise. I cannot put you on a Virgin Ocean cruise because those are adults only trips. So I need to know who is traveling, how many, because as the more people you put into a room, the price per person will go down, but the price is still going to go up. So you can go from, 3,000 to 4,000. If it's three people instead of two, the price went up, but it's still the price per person has gone down. Obviously, where are you traveling? I can't plan a trip for you without knowing where you want to go. And like I said, if I know your dates and where you want to go, I can advise against you going to some place that's not recommended. Um, and why do you want to travel? Is it a business trip? Are you going for leisure? Is it an anniversary, a birthday, wedding? All of this stuff is important to make sure that I'm putting you in the right place. If you're going for a wedding, do you want to have a beach wedding? I need to know that to put you in a place with the beautiful scenery. Where do you normally stay? Do you stay at Airbnbs? Because that's not what I do. Because I can't advocate for you with an Airbnb. You have a host who we don't know how good the property is going to be. What kind of rules are they going to have in place? So where are you normally staying? Are you staying at a four-star hotel? Are you, staying at a motel, a hostel? All of this is information I need to know where to place you within your budget. And then once again, budget. What is your budget? Okay. Somebody said, "Hey, I want to take my wife on her 50th birthday in Hawaii." That's great. What is your budget? Well, I don't know. Okay. Well, I'm going to give you a price for the Four Seasons in Lanai, and then you can tell me if that's your budget or not. Because if you don't tell me what your budget is, I'm going to go at the top and then we'll work our way down.
Nice.
If you know that you don't want to spend more than $600 a night, $500 a night, then tell me that. That way I can save you time and me time by shopping the right properties. So it is always a good idea to know what your budget is going to be, but also at the same time, make sure that your budget is realistic for what you want to do. If you come at me with $200 a night and you want to do, 2 weeks through Europe, probably not going to happen because you're going to eat that up on your flights over there. So having your budget realistic and make sure you have that ready for me is pretty important. Oh, and real quick, how you can get a hold of me? Here's my phone number, 281-536-1713, and then my email address. I forgot I had this extra slide here. So
Great presentation, Raymond.
Thank
Great
you, Raymond.
presentation.
thank you.
It's very inspiring. Well, makes me want to travel.
Hey,
Does
Raymond.
anyone have any questions? Okay, Ruben's got a question.
Raymond, it's been a long time since I've been on Norwegian, okay? But I talked to recently I talked to a travel agent and I said, I've seen these advertisements for these huge ships. They looks like Disneyland itself. And he said that some of them carry 10,000 people. Is that correct?
If you figure in the cruise, it's very possible. Like if you were to look at Royal has some of the biggest ships on the sea right now, and it looks like the ship starts at the waterline and then goes up like an upside down pyramid because they have so much stuff on the top. You've got roller coasters. They are their Oasis of the Seas class. They have these 10-story slides. And then they have an aqua theater on the back where you remember going to SeaWorld and you saw the diving shows. Well, they do this on the back of the ship. And they have ships where you can have that many people, or if you want something more intimate, then you can move more into the luxury space like Seabourn or Regent.
Any other questions? I have a question. Do you recommend travel insurance? And do you have resources for that?
So I think for two reasons I recommend it. I could tell you a real story. One of my clients, he lost his job right after he booked. And I had asked him, like, "Hey, do you want to get insurance?" He said, "No, no, I'll be good." Well, he lost his job and then he got a new job about 3 weeks before he was supposed to sail. Well, he wasn't there long enough to be able to take vacation. So he lost out on 75% of what he had paid on the cruise. If he had had the insurance, he would have been covered for everything because starting a new job is one of the covered reasons. And the other thing is if you have your U.S. domestic insurance, it does not work on cruise ships and it does not work overseas. And if you're going on a hike, the example that we have is a lady with the client with the agency was hiking in Iceland and she twisted and broke her ankle. Well, they had to send a helicopter out there to get her and bring her back. Well, your travel insurance has emergency medical transport, which is the helicopters, or if they had to medevac you off of a ship, that falls underneath that coverage. But if you're being treated on the ship, then that's where your medical kicks in, and you have a concierge line with Allianz, which is the primary one that we use, and you contact that concierge, and then they start the communication with the cruise line or whoever's providing the medical services for you.
Wow. Great to know. Thank you. Well, I encourage all of you to set up one-to-ones with Raymond and oh, there you are. Okay. I heard somebody go and then you moved, so I couldn't see anymore. But set up a one-to-one, talk to him about what your dreams are, what your hopes are for travel in the future, and see if y'all can refer clients to one another. And I'm going to finish sharing a couple more slides with you. If you want to take a picture of this or screenshot, whatever you need to do to make sure. And also, Raymond, please make sure your information is in the chat, which I think you did.
I'm going to add it now.